Bryan Danielson, Keith, could be stepping into the ring for the last time at AEW All In London, August 25th at Wembley Stadium. It's again, I guess the key, the word of the day is historical. I mean,
Yeah.
with Hendry, yes, but like Bryan Danielson, it's on another level just because what he's done for not only AEW but for the independent scene, for the WWE. I mean, this is a big deal. I don't think it's going to be his last match, but I think it's going to be something special. I don't want to say he's going to win the title, but let's just talk about him, his position he's in right now, and then let's talk about the legacy because it's a big deal, man. What do you got? Let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, he's just someone that it's like, what can
Yeah.
we even say that like hasn't been said? And if it is all going to end at Wembley, that's okay. You know,
Yeah.
we never even thought he was going to come back. We thought it was over.
Yeah.
Jesus, when was that? After WrestleMania 31, like 9 years
Yeah.
ago. It might have been later than that. Whatever. Like we thought it was over a while ago.
Yeah.
And then we got to be lucky people where he's just like, nah, like I'm cleared, and he came back, and
Yeah.
then you know, just he's just great. Everything he's done has been. I don't want to say it's been better than the thing he's done before, but like
Yeah. You could
in a
say
not
that.
insulting way, he's like a Jericho, where it's just like he can reinvent himself and he can get that new thing over quickly
Yeah.
because of just how good he is with stuff. Jericho kind of lost that touch now, but
Yeah.
back in the day, that's how Jericho was. And like, you look at him from just being kind of just like an innovator or whatever guy almost. And when he first started out like in Ring of Honor and stuff and just building himself up and finding
Yeah.
himself, like he even says himself, like found himself in Ring of Honor when he became Ring of Honor champion. He was just like, I was kind of like the last option at the time because of like some people were leaving, some people were like, other people were just like hurt. They didn't have anyone else to put the company on the back, like put their didn't have anyone else to put the company on their back, but so they let me go for it. And then he shined, and
Yeah.
I have till 5 and like, just
Yeah.
glorious stuff. Absolutely, like, frankly, terrifying to watch matches between him and Nigel McGuinness from back in the
Oh
day,
yeah.
where it's just like, no wonder Nigel is like not cleared to
Yeah.
wrestle at right now, and maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Um,
Yeah.
there is a part of me that hopes. I don't know. I don't know if Wembley is going to be his last match. There is a part of me that I would love to see him and Nigel run it back one more time and have that be his last match.
That would be
Um,
cool. Nigel said he's
yeah,
he's there. He
and
can do it.
Nigel just talks smack
Oh
every
yeah.
time he's on TV.
He's funny.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. We're like talking about uh, Danielson's retirement in the same year that like Cena announced his own retirement, because it's like when they
Yeah.
had their feud, even in WWE, like it is just literally like it's a comparison of the sports entertainer to the wrestler, and it's like when we talked about Cena's retirement on here, we kind of talked about how like he's going to be on the Mount Rushmore for some people and stuff, Cena that is, and everything, and it's like in the same
Yeah.
way Bryan is too, for like the people that for
Me.
like the wrestling fans that follow a little bit of
Yeah.
everything as much as they can, like absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
he was able to be the indie guy doing stuff for 50 people in a popcorn stand and everything to you know uh, winning the world title at WrestleMania 30, and
Yeah.
then having to give that up and everything, and then debuting in AEW and like start it all over again, and now maybe he
Yeah.
wins it again in Wembley. We don't know.
Yeah. Um, I'm one of those people that would have him on my Mount Rushmore
For
just
sure.
because of what he's done for the wrestling industry, and I'm comfortable saying this. I think he's done a lot. I'm not going to compare him to an Austin or to a Hogan, but I would say he's up there in the aspect of what we've gotten out of wrestling since he debuted. First things first, I mean, he changed the game with the independent circuit. Let's be honest. Like what
Right.
he's done, yes, there was a lot of people, a lot of helping hands with Seth and KO and Nigel. I mean, there's a lot of people we can thank for the independent circuit and how the independent scene and how successful they've been in modern, in the modern day. But without Danielson, without Bryan doing what he did, it's just he's like a founding father, like he is. When you think of indie guys, like you think of him, you think of some dude in Washington who's undersized,
Mhm.
underutilized, who doesn't know a thing about, the WWE product. Yes, he was a fan back in the day. Like, then this guy who is just it's incredible. Then he goes to the biggest company and he breaks barriers there.
Yep.
I mean, he adapted to what he needed to in the first few years of his career, but then he was able to become himself. And then what did that do? That helped other underutilized, undersized wrestlers become someone like him. It's
Yeah.
really incredible to even look at it like that, because it's just like it's so hard to comprehend that this guy from somewhere in West Coast just made the wrestling industry just. I mean, even in the WWE, he
Right.
changed the game in the WWE. Yes, Vince leaving had a lot to do with what we're seeing now, but before that, I mean, you
Right.
would not see a Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson main event Raw or get a spotlight with the Yes Movement. I mean, it's just incredible. And then, like you said, you brought up WrestleMania 30. I mean, that
In a
is
moment.
unheard of. Not to have one match, not having one match to main event, but having a match to get to the main event against the guy who's probably one of the top heels in the game, to beat him and then go one on one with not one on one, triple threat Batista and Randy. I mean, in that in itself is just holy shit. It's
Right.
it's really cool to see. And I mean, it keeps on going. He wins it, the whole Yes Movement, and then he turns heel. He has his whole, what is it, Planet Champion. That is just another
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
yeah. Oh my god, the hemp title. That thing was freaking
yeah,
cool as hell.
yes. And then
Yeah.
he puts over Kofi for Kofi Mania. I mean,
Yep.
this guy has not only changed the game in professional wrestling. Again, I'm comfortable with saying that.
For sure.
He has no doubt in my mind. I mean, that's just in itself, with that's just like the NFL like changing because of one person, like a Peyton Manning or the Tom Brady, making
Right.
new rules for Tom Brady. They changed. I mean, Seth Rollins would not be who he is if it wasn't for a Bryan Danielson. I mean,
Yeah.
a snobby kid who, I don't know. I've gone on for a long time.
Well, no, and it's
I'm a
yo,
huge
I went
fan.
on
Yeah.
a long time too. I was letting you go for it. It's cool because it's like I think like he did like innovate so much stuff, but like in a way, it's also like he innovated so much stuff because he was almost like a throwback in a lot of ways. Like
Yeah.
to me, I always felt like Brian was the first one to come around in a while that like you kind of looked at him and you were like, oh, maybe this is real again or
Yeah.
something. Like made you almost like buy that it was real. Like because you you look at like all those guys from back in the past and like watching like some of those old like 80s early 80s matches from like the territories and stuff and like you're watching Terry Funk throw a punch at a guy and you're just like I don't know that that's fake. Like he looks like he's just straight up beating this guy up. And
Yeah.
then the comebacks and all and everything like that. And like I can remember like distinctly the first time I saw like a clip of like a Daniel Bryan match or whatever when he does the holding the hands and the stomping the head, and I'm just
Yeah.
like again, and that's me as being 20 years old, whatever it was when I saw it, and just being like
Yeah.
I know that this isn't like real, like they're not, it's not like real combat, but like
How does he do it? Yeah.
Jesus, what's happening there? Because like I understand like maybe he's not kicking him with his full force, but it sure looks like
Yeah.
he is. Like he's really making it look like he's really kicking the crap out of that dude's head, and like, wow,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And it's he's just he can like do all of it.
Anything.
Like he's a guy that like got so much like influence and everything with the fans, like had so much power and whatnot with the fans that like they booed The Rock. Like
Yeah.
when he wasn't even in the 2015 Royal Rumble that Roman won, and they had The Rock come out and hold the hand, and the
Yeah.
start to the blood, start to the final boss story and everything. Get the hell out of here with that. But like that all happened, and like Philly booed him because we're just like,
Yeah.
no, Daniel
Yeah.
Bryan wasn't even in this. This is bull. Get the hell out of
Yeah.
here. No way. And like you have an icon like The Rock, who at that point wasn't even like a part timer. He had more or less just been gone, and he showed up, and it was just like, no, boo,
Yeah.
no, Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is the one that should have been in and won this
Yeah.
friggin' match.
And
Like,
that's happened a few times. I remember the
right?
time where Cena was in the ring with it was a shit ton of guys, and I think it was Cena and Randy, and I think it was for I think that's when they were going to unify the title or
Yes,
something. I don't know. And they were just chanting DB's name, and it's
Mark
just
Henry
like
had to put his
he.
hand up and everything.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yes, yeah.
yeah,
It's just things like that, and
yeah.
we look at again it is what it is. But Roman Reigns, he was forced down our throats until we said okay, until he found a gimmick and that was cool enough for us
Hmm.
to like, and we like it now, and we think it's some of the best shit ever. But like Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, like did it on his own. Like he did not want us to be forced to like him. He was going to make us like him, and that's what he did. I mean, we just talked about WrestleMania 30. He wasn't done there. I mean, we brought up the Planet Champion. I mean, that was some of his best work. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
ever. And that was after
absolutely.
his peak in the biggest wrestling industry company in the world, and he just continues to do the best. And then his AEW run. I mean,
Yep.
it's been amazing. It's been a lot of oh shit, maybe he's done, maybe he's done. But again, he's just like an everyman. He's just like an underdog. He's just like our favorite guy, Rocky. He just keeps going, man. He
That's
keeps
right.
going. He doesn't give a shit. Yeah, he might take 3 or 4 months between each match, but I mean, look what he's done with AEW, the Blackpool Combat Club. That was cool. He brought Regal back for a hot second.
Yep.
That was really cool. His matches with MJF made me a believer in MJF, and I love MJF. I think he's one of the top heels in the industry. But to put up and do probably his best work in ring with Bryan Danielson, you get an okay boy with me.
Absolutely.
Um, and just the role that he's taking now, and hopefully he'll stay with that with AEW. I don't know what he's going to do, but um, I'm excited. I think it's time. As much as I don't want to say that because I really wanted to see him, wrestle every week, but
Right.
it's time, and you can see it, and it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I just have a worry. I don't want him to go like the Flair route. Like if
Oh
he's like really
God,
considering retirement and everything, like seriously now, like he is, that's awesome. And I want him to kind
yeah,
of just do it because I don't want
yeah,
6 retirements. I don't want him to retire or even, God rest his
yeah,
soul, and I love the guy and all, but like not like Terry Funk either. Funk
yeah,
retired like 18 times and then kept coming back and wrestled, and he was till he was like
and it was
75 and everything. And it's just like, no, man,
yeah,
like
yeah,
enjoy your life. You've done a ton for
yeah,
us as wrestling fans. You've done so much, and we love you for it. You don't have to do anymore. We're okay with it.
yeah,
Go enjoy your kids, enjoy the years that you have
exactly,
without like being completely broken boned and everything. Open a
yeah,
wrestling school if you really need to. That'd be awesome. Open a wrestling school. Give us a new generation of people that wrestle like you. I'm fine with that. You don't have to take
yeah,
bumps anymore. You don't have to be in blood and guts matches.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.